What's up, guys? Time to show off another Kraken 2.1 build. This one's a little bit newer style for us. We've got a, it was essentially a blue sterile dial that had white, well, I guess they're silver. But everything around here is silver. But you've got orange accent and white accent throughout. And then at your minute markers, you've got those in orange down here. And then your ticks in between at white. So lots and lots and lots of complementing. Sorry if that was loud. I have like dust on my screen and I'm like, wait, why is it on the watch? And it's on the screen of the phone I'm looking through. So now it looks nice. But to complement that, I did a set of white, orange, white PloProf style hands. You've got your little Kraken down there at that 7/8 area. Did a brushed case. Did a white cerakoted. Oh, I was waiting on that caseback. That's why it's been sitting here. Hey, you'll get to see us do a caseback together. I noticed it didn't look right. Get to throw a milled case back on when we get there. So I built the watch waiting on that case back to come in, and then all of them came in, and it sat here because I was waiting on the other 2.1 to get sold before I did a video and put this one up, and then forgot that I needed to swap that case back over. So white aggressive shark tooth bezel with an orange anodized minute insert. So got lots of nice orange and white going on. And then we put this on a wristbound strap. Nice charcoal colored with orange stitch. In a brushed preview buckle with a Kraken engraved, actually it's Kraken engraved preview buckle. A couple little stamps on there. And then we're going to swap out that case back so you'll get to see that movement, and as I go over how the movement works. So bezel on this is really tight. You can turn it left, you can turn it right. This is a tension ring bezel. It is only going to turn unless you want it to. So it is not a click style bezel, so don't worry about that. And we'll flip that up so you can see the Kraken down there. So, under the bezel, this is an automatic mechanical. So, as you're moving, it's got a rotor in the back that's moving and keeping your time. But before you put it on, before you set the time, you want to wind it just a little bit, because if you don't have anything in the power reserve, that seconds hand can stop on you until you're moving around a little bit. So if you're at your desk, driving, etc. So before you set the time, wind it just a little bit, and how you do that is you back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. You'll be off that crown tube. You'll feel it clicking. You'll feel it kind of pulsing in your hand, and you can actually hear it. Winding is a turn away from you. Oh yeah, and a Kraken engraved crown on here. I was able to find one that actually lined up nicely. Winding it that way winds it. This way does not wind it, but it is a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. So I do 3 or 4 seconds of that. That mixed with that rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do another 3 or 4 seconds, you will max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. When you're happy with your winding, keep touching the face and then expecting there not to be a fingerprint as I'm rubbing my fingerprint off with my finger. When you're happy with that, you're going to pull it to the one and only click. And you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement. Set seconds and it's going to keep going. You'll also notice you get a little bit of play in that crown. That is a wobble crown. It deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressures on anything. Alexa, what time is it? 8:09 p.m. Push this over, get it out of that time setting. And then wind it down. And then Kraken is nicely aligned forward. All right, so not many people get to see this part, but a lot of times when you're taking off your caseback, it's got a gasket on it, and that caseback is threading in. With these, that's not the case. This is a plate that sits down on there, and when it sits down in there, there is a ring that holds it down that threads in to the outer portion of the case. So you don't have to worry about replacing your gasket each time you take your case back off due to it being stretched or anything along those lines. Because it's not going to stretch, because there's nothing to stretch. It's being compressed. So that's what the case back looks like before we mill it all the way down. Make it nice, and so there's that gasket before we mill it down, and then laser it ourselves. So that gasket stays in here. You get to see you've got a stainless steel movement holder in there. You got an engraved BVW rotor, and there's that rotor that moves as you're moving and keeping your time. So this fits back down in there. It kind of goes under. And then our Kraken case back. And see, you've got that threads on the exterior there. Just make sure that's down in and flat. And then you just walk this around. It's a lot easier when the band isn't on there because I can get my fingers down in there a little bit lower. So I normally do that. Make sure I'm pretty much as tight as I can go before I use my case back tightener. And there we go. Kraken engraved case back. And then that reminded me there's a stainless steel movement holder inside, because I've been doing that a lot lately, but not really telling people that. Those movement holders cost me $10. The ones that come with them are plastic. And I don't know. I don't really talk to too many people about this stuff anymore, because once I learned how to do everything, I kind of removed myself from those discussions, because I was doing different stuff with the watches than those people were. They weren't really doing what I'm doing. But there was discussion at one point that the plastic ones were better for impact. So if you like drop your watch and such, because these movements are made for the military. So it was kind of more of a thought on they were better for impact, I guess, whereas something that's metal is metal on metal, not as much give. But we're not diving in the ditches right now or anything crazy, so you should be fine. And I haven't had anybody, like, I used to do so, like, most of my watches, if they had an exhibition case back when I used to be able to get those, they had a stainless steel movement holder in there, just so you wouldn't see like something red or one of those weird colors and be like, what is that in there? Yeah, it's a plastic movement holder. So I've had not one person ever say like something's wrong with the movement, and it'd be tied to that. So I just knew a lot of people didn't go to that because the stock version of the movement didn't have that. But I spend a little bit of money. I buy the metal ones. Let's see, do I have some sitting here? You saw this, but you probably did not know what you were looking at. But these are like $10 a pop. So That's what's in the back there. So it's the movement's connected to it, so it's not like it's a piece that would come apart. But I could pop out and show you. It was just what was going around the edge. So anyway, long video. You get to see a lot of cool stuff. Caseback gets swapped on there. But that's the build. So that's how that rotor move goes back and forth, keeping your time throughout the day. I get to see it in action. Matching beads, complementing beads, not matching. They don't match, they complement. Almost nothing that I have matches each other because these are natural stones, and what I'm using is anodized aluminum and screen printed this, and so you're never going to match anything. But that's the build. It's going to come with complementing beads. It's going to come in a Kraken engraved slider box with Atlas pillow inside. It's going to come with a few things. Watch cleaner, says good on all glass and metal. So everything here in the center. Non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. It's also going to come with leather conditioner. That's good for any of your straps that are not as pliable, not as soft. You would apply it on the front and back, let it soak in, remove any excess. Actually, work in any excess. If you have excess, you probably did too much, but just kind of like work it in. You know, force it in there. Then you're back to being a little bit more pliable. Probably need it on other straps, not necessarily the one that you're getting from me. And then lastly, you're going to get some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's for your domed acrylic glass. You can scratch it. If you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it with the additional microfiber. Generate some heat with your thumb. Do tiny circles, clouding it all up, and then hazing it and then buffing it off. And it should remove any scratch that you put on your domed acrylic glass, which it doesn't quite look like a dome unless you can see how it's dropping down on the sides, because this bezel is so big that it comes all the way up to where that is. So kind of protects it a little bit. So that's it. And if you get a scratch in the case, use the green side of a Scotch-Brite. Do half passes, curved half passes. Don't go back and forth. You get a straight line. Do rounded passes and brush in that scratch. And it's still there, but you're taking the shine off of it. You're kind of blending it in a little bit. So that's it. That's the build. It's going to you. Congrats. You got a new cool watch. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe, as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.